Hello, everyone. So maybe I will start with the introduction of myself. So I've been working for IHP already for more than 10 years, and mostly I'm working as a PDK developer. But besides, for now, it's more or less a hobby. So I'm do some programming stuff. So and this hobby comes from Cadence time when more than 10 years ago I was working for Cadence and developed open access, Azure and PBS programs. So with all this experience, I tried to start development of the library manager for open source community. So this is the outline, what I would like to talk about today. We'll start with the motivation. I explain why I would like to do that and what is different from what already exists in open source. So then the goals, it's a kind of definitions for the library manager I would like to have and to be performed. Then I will show the main interface of the library manager, which is not a surprise, looks very much like a common tool. So then I will talk about the IHP Open PDK data structure. Finally, about the functionality. Then, as it's open source projects, I would like to have also documentation generator built in the flow, and then I will sum everything up. So, motivation. Clearly, so we need kind of tool which is similar to what we have on the market for the commercial tools like Cadence, Keysight, Mentor, and so on. So typically, library manager is used to store design data in libraries, navigate through the library cells, use data files, and so on. We have to also manipulate with our data in a convenient way. And clearly, so we need to finally execute all the view-specific editors, like schematic editor, layout editor, and so on. And why I actually started this activity, because each tool in open source community is kind of independent and we don't have a flow. So, and this could be the first step to unite the tools from open source community in a flow. So this are the goals listed here. So clearly we need a library manager development for open source EDA tools. So the functionality needs to be the same as in the current commercial tools to get it more, so to be more attractive for open source users. So we need to develop a friendly design interface, which is already known to the user from commercial tools. And the design and interface must be easily customizable and extendable because open source community is growing, and then we need to integrate finally more and more tools in the flow. And everything has to be already there, prepared for a future extension. Then I wanted to integrate the documentation generator. I've chosen Doxygen for that. And I used Qt or Qt, different pronunciation. So I started with a version of 4.8.6 and upwards, up to actually version 6. So, and my idea was to integrate Doxygen in a Qt because it's easy to do, and then we have a flow. And surely so Qt allows to compile code on different platforms, and then it's platform independent, and then users can execute library manager all over the open source operation systems. So the functionality goals, and actually this list, this task were already implemented by me in the library manager. So it's just basic functionality. We need to create new libraries, perform all the operations like copy, renaming, delete, editing, and so on. So also organizing cells into categories, uniting libraries into groups, displaying library cell view information, and navigate through the libraries and cell views. And also, I wanted to have a design which kind of single window. From my experience, when a graphical interface constantly pop-ups within new windows, so it's unattractive, it's difficult to support, especially when you execute info information or create a new cell, and then the new window is hidden beside the main window, and then you have lots of windows, and then you have to navigate where it's actually my window. It's, I mean, not convenient style to design the graphical interface. I wanted everything to be in one window. So, and this is the interface, what I came up with. So, resemble very much the tool from another company. So, but we have all the information here. So it's the customers got used to that already. So it's a library cell view approach. But additionally, I have also categories and documentation views, which can be hidden, of course. So it's up to user taste at the end. So, but for PDK, I find it pretty convenient. Then we can easily open the documentation or cell lists, and everything is available from this window. Yeah, so, and all the editors, so launching support is also available here. So by double click, we can execute particular view. So for now, I integrated mostly color out, but of course I will continue. So depending on the flow, which will be introduced by IHP later. So there will be new tools there, and so the basic customization for that and basic development I've already done. It's easy to integrate later. So it's also based on a project file, which is similar to well-known libdevs or cds lib and so on. So this file is used to specify and store location of the design libraries. So, but also the groups. So here you can see, for example, that we have a group test, which has two sub-libraries within this group. So the style is pretty clear and easy to read and easy to edit in case of necessity. And so you can run this file with Library Manager as a command line argument, or if it's located in a particular folder already, then Library Manager automatically detects it and executes and also loads the information from this file, or also using the menu approach, you can just load this file. So IHP OpenPDK structure, it's not the final one, but it's mostly the one what I used for loading the data from. So Sergey already presented this structure. So I just wanted to quickly go through that. It has libraries, and inside the libraries it has files like GDS, CDL, and so on, and documentation. We don't have views. Views in this case comes from the name of the files. For example, we have file like sg13g2_pr, which comes, which becomes a cell name for the library manager. So this is what already is there. So if there are, in case there are any other ideas how to do that and how to support it, so pretty much welcome. So I will try to do that. Yeah, as I mentioned, basic operations are there, and everything is built in this window, so without any additional property windows. So with some exceptions, of course. Exception could be, for example, when deleting files, then I have to ask user, so because it's a critical operation, if I'm going really to do that or not. So, but renaming, copying, and so on is everything available within this interface without any additional sub-windows. So, and clearly you can manipulate with data, managing groups, and so on directly here. So so as I mentioned, the library manager has integration with ColorLayout already. So the thing is that ColorLayout cannot be opened with an empty file. It has to be a GDS, but not really a file with a GDS name. It has to be really some headers in it. So library manager can also create an empty GDS file and then executes ColorLayout with this empty GDS file. So this is how it looks like. So you just double click on a file and then the cell is opened with all the information available in the file. Also, if there are any suggestions, enhancements and so on, please let me know, and we can try to make it even more attractive. So as to customization, it's also all preliminary stuff, but I integrated the table settings in the library manager, which are now easily extendable. So, and you can see that the tools can be selected. So the view editors can be specified by user. So just click on a particular field, and then if it's green, then tool exists. If it's red, it doesn't exist, and you can just browse to the particular tool by using this three-dot button, and then just select the required tool. In case of command line arguments, because some tools require command line arguments, so more easy and more convenient approach will come later, but for now I would suggest to use a script. So use a script with only one argument, cell name, and then just provide this script here and with all the required arguments, and it will be automatically executed. So as I mentioned, I integrated Doxygen in this Qt project. Doxygen natively supports C and C++ and can be easily integrated with Qt Creator. That's why I decided to do that. So, and I use this main Doxygen comment style to comment everything in the current project, and now it can be so documentation can be easily generated for library manager with only one button click. So, and this is the outcome. So I have documented everything, every single function and class members in the current project. So I will submit the complete database to the GitHub right after workshop. It was our internal decision to do that. And then you can use this API documentation as a starting point if you would like to contribute to the project. So just read it. So, and if you would like to add something, just go ahead. So this is what I'm going to do in near future. So as I mentioned, GitHub submit, which will happen right after workshop. I have to also provide the compilation guide, so which will be part of the submission. Then they provide editor arguments for convenient use of the users. So instead of scripts, it will be a possibility to provide the arguments in a graphical way. So later on, I would like to add also version control based on a Git. So as we deal with GitHub clearly, so I will implement Git. And then it would be also possible to submit design data to the GitHub project automatically. What is still open point for me, so until we have a common database for open source, I think it's a bottleneck for now. So we have to really consider, so if you would like to unite tools in a flow, we need to consider the open source database. If there exists something already in the market, please let me know. So otherwise, maybe we have to really think of development that. So, and let me conclude everything. So what I've done, so the first version of Library Manager has been developed and is going to be submitted to the GitHub. So the basic functionality is already there. So if there is something else you need, we have to probably organize somehow kind of tracking system and just file the ticket there. So yeah, users are capable now to customize the view editors and use the editors directly from Library Manager. So Doxygen is already part of the project. So API documentation have been done, at least for the current version. What I've done also, so I tested compilation on for different Qt versions. Even I didn't mention the Qt6 is also there. So everything is running without any warnings and truly errors. And I did test on different operation systems like Red Hat, Ubuntu, and Windows. Yeah, and any feedback and support to make LibMan more friendly, so I highly appreciate it. And of course, I have to thank our colleagues from IHP and FMD QNC project.